Hi guys, welcome to the Partement Rouge. My name is Sabne Raznik and you have found the channel here on YouTube where I do what I call mini readings, which is sometimes my own work if I'm promoting a new book, usually someone else's. And that's why this channel has not been monetized, so that I could share work from other poets all around the world with you. That's the goal, is to just share the poésie joie from around the world on this channel. Of course, I read the English translations because that's the language I'm most comfortable in. But if you find a poem you especially like and you are able to read the original language in which the poem appeared, feel free to look that up and compare the English translation with that original version and enjoy both. Because if you know anything about translation, you are aware that a poem in its original form and a poem in translation are two different things. There are two different works of art. There are things in the original language, wordplay, puns, things like that, that might not necessarily translate over into the translated language, simply because languages are different, in some cases extremely different. Some languages have syllables, some languages do not, that sort of thing. So they use a different system for that. So I encourage you, if you can read the original language, by all means do so and enjoy that too. But these are just here to share the joy of poetry, and I have got quite the library on this channel by now. There are close to 100 videos, possibly over 100. I've lost count, but close to 100 videos for sure on this channel. So I'm sure if you go back through it, you will find something you like. This channel has been here since 2011, so over a decade now. And so, I'm sure you'll find something you like. I do not upload here on a schedule. There are multiple reasons for that, having to do with chronic illness. I have chronic illness, and a myriad of other things. Moves, sometimes you move and then it'd be a couple years before I came back because it took me that long to get settled, things like that. So I don't upload here on a schedule. That is why I'm asking you to subscribe. I'm not doing it for the algorithms. I know every YouTuber says that. Subscribe and hit the bell, right? I'm not doing it for the algorithm, however. I'm doing it for your convenience so that you will know when I have uploaded a new video on this channel, simply because I don't do it on a schedule. Okay? And that way you won't miss a video if you are truly interested in world poetry and what I share here. Today, I am reading a poem by an Appalachian poet, John Compton. He's from kind of the foothills of eastern Kentucky. He's a little bit more central than I am because I'm literally on the Virginia border. But he lives a little further out into central Kentucky. He was actually caught in the tornadoes in Kentucky in December 2021. That was a bit of a ride, but he survived it. Anyway, he's an excellent poet. He's a very talkative poet, too. So if you look him up on Facebook he's under the name John Compton. If you find him on Facebook, he's very open to messaging and all that. And he's always willing to meet new poet friends, just so you know. I got his permission to share this poem from his debut collection, Trainride Elsewhere, which is under another name because he's since gotten married. And he took on the name of his husband. Trainride Elsewhere by John Compton, if you want to look it up. So the name is different with this one because for the reasons I said. Now he writes under the name John Compton, same person. I love the way he writes, however, because his poetry it's very evocative, and it leaves plenty of spaces for the reader to interact with the text. You're not just reading verbatim narrative or a confessional poem. These poems are evocative. They leave lots of spaces for the reader to enter in with their own thoughts. And he's great with imagery and with just general wordplay. And he tends to write about rather serious subjects, which is right up my alley. So the poem, this is called The Way You Lived After You Died, which is interesting in and of itself, that title, right? I will have, and right off the bat I mess it up. My apologies. Alright, I'll try again. I help you pick pieces of your face off the floor. The smaller fragments, harder to find. I crawl under the bed. One of your eyes had rolled beneath there. You smile at me with half a lip and slurred. You reassure in as whole a voice as possible that I'll be okay. Daddy loves me in a way which is hard to explain, and thank you, little man, for your support. After we make you pretty again, I keep messing this up. After we make you pretty again, we play silently in my room until the stars dry from the ruins of the house and I sleep in a world where Mommy doesn't get sad. The years were stitches and bruises and sunglasses. Then you became the woman who outgrew, gluing herself back together. You were tired of living in a fishbowl, and escaped and swam against the current and birthed into an avant-garde creature and given a new flesh. You spoke the voice of birds and sang until the trees held you and you understood it was safe. I suppose I should have mentioned a trigger warning in the beginning of domestic violence, right? Yeah, I told you he writes about heavy subjects, which is right up my alley. But if you're interested in his work, like I said, you can find him on Facebook under John Compton there. And he's very open to talking with poets and texting poets. So, yeah. But I wanted to share his work. He really is one of my favorite contemporary poets in this moment. And I didn't want to get by on this channel without reading one of his poems. There are poems in the book that are more evocative and more image-filled, but that one, I think, struck me as kind of one of the more important poems for obvious reasons. And I just wanted to share that. I'm going to have to get off here. I can't chat too long. I have to be somewhere else in just a few minutes. So take care of yourselves mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, whatever that means to you. It's different for everybody, and it should be, because we all have different mental and emotional and spiritual makeups. Therefore, it needs to be cared for in a different way, right? So important to do that right now as we continue to go through this specific period of time we're going through, especially if you're watching this when I upload it in the beginning of 2022. Take care of each other, right? And we'll get through this together. Boy, will we have the stories to tell when it's over, right? Already people are releasing books that are based on our collective experience for the last couple of years, and they are incredibly interesting, and I think they will be extremely valuable to history. I think because this time period will always be a time period that people look back on with some interest in history, and I think it's important to leave behind our individual human stories so that others can say, oh, well, that's what it was like to be alive during that time, right? And there are already books that are being released at this point specifically about our collective experience since 2020. So that's exciting. But yeah, make it a deliberate part of your daily routine to do something, anything, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, that will take care of yourself mentally and emotionally. And I hope that these videos on this YouTube channel and also the reading series that I've been doing on Instagram and Facebook since March 2020, I've been reading books there. I started out with fiction and now I'm reading Yeats, and we'll soon be finished with Yeats, so I might move on to Seamus Heaney. We've been reading things on Instagram and Facebook on a almost daily basis as a way to share the poésie joie, but also to give people a space where they can come and just and put it all down for a little bit, right? I hope that this YouTube channel is also that for you, even though I don't post here that often. And hopefully I will see you next time I upload a video here, right? Thank you for joining me here in the Apartment Rouge. Till we meet again.